In this video, we're going to look at a couple ways to really improve your ability to handle the basketball, as well as find your weaknesses. And then when you find your weaknesses, you can take those and turn them into strengths. So normally when we do things that we're already good at, we don't really expose what we're not good at. So try to think outside the box as to things you could do that will really help you to struggle actually. And then in return, that's when you're going to really make the biggest leaps and bounds of improving your ability to handle the basketball or really in anything. I'm Coach Nick Aldiro. Thank you for being at the channel. If you haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing, liking this video, and also dropping a comment as to what videos you'd like to see next. If you're looking for extra help, check out the links in the description or the link in the very first comment. The clip that you're about to see is from one of our skill clinic. The ages are 3rd through 8th grade, both boys and girls. And what we're working on first at the clinic is stationary ball handling, really being able to control the hands and the feet. And that's one of the ways you're going to be able to take your control, overall control, and bring it to another level. So what we're working on here is the ability to do what's called a pocket dribble, which is pulling the ball back to our hip with our hand behind the ball and our fingers go to the side. And we want to focus on being able to change levels as we're doing that. What's really difficult about this is to keep your dribble consistent as you're slowly dropping down to put the cone back on the ground. And the cone is going to force you to be in a proper body position. So as we see it in faster time here, we can see Cameron does a pretty good job here of gradually going down. And then we move on to a pocket, put the cone down, and then you're going to cross over and quickly pick it up as fast as you can. So looking at Haley here, she has a nice wide stance. She's going to put the cone down, drop her shoulder. That's a very good pocket dribble. And then as soon as she crosses over, we want her to be able to keep that shoulder down. So her shoulder was late there. That's a very common issue that kids have when they first start to do this, is that their shoulder isn't urgent enough and it's not immediately dropping after that crossover. So let's take a look at another rep from her in super slow motion. So her shoulder drops very good there. There's her cross, and boom, much better. So right after that exchange of hands, we want her to pick up the cone. Now we don't want her to put her hand underneath the ball because that is a carry every single time. A pocket dribble is not a carry. It only becomes a carry if your hand goes underneath the basketball. So now what we're doing is we're going to put the cone down and then go through the legs. Now the goal here is to not move the feet to show control, and we want to be able to drop that shoulder. So here Cameron drops and it goes through at the same time. So he's very young. This is a common mistake but kids who are younger tend to go out of order. So if you can't go in order, you're lacking a little bit of body control, and those things will come out in the game. So it's not a game situation. It's not that you're going to do this in the game. It's really a test of your abilities. So let's take a look at Max here. Puts the cone down. Now notice how he takes a step there. Now, the order was correct, but he took a step. So we don't want to step right now. And it's not that stepping is wrong. It's just that does he have the ability to control his steps, to not take one if he doesn't want to. Now, notice his hand placement there on the cone. So that is holding it at the very top. But really, we want to get his full hand on the grip because it's going to make you get about 5 inches lower when you have your hand directly on the grip, scooping that up. So now let's take a look at Madeline. There's her pocket dribble. She puts down, low shoulder, immediately goes through, feet still, very good, and wide, and has to pick up the cone right away. That is a very good rep by Madeline. So now at this point in the clinic, we moved on to some partner dribbling drills with 2 basketballs, and we're also working on passing. Now, we're working on a behind-the-back bounce pass, and some people might say, well, that's not very fundamental. Well, the problem with the word fundamental is that really we don't even know what the definition of a fundamental. What's fundamental to one player or coach might be something that's totally different to another. So in my opinion, it is fundamental to be able to throw a behind-the-back pass because if somebody's tight to your body, you need to be able to do that. So here we're alternating dribble with our left shoulder facing, and then we're going to throw that behind-the-back pass, and then you're going to see Haley cross over, and then she's going to throw another behind the back pass. So it's 2 behind the back passes, And what you can't hear, obviously, because I'm doing a voiceover, is that the partner is calling out when to pass. So they have to be able to react fast. Now their feet are going to be outside the mat here for a wide stance, being wide creates driving angles. So Madeline's alternating dribbles. She hears the call. She has a behind the back bounce pass. Now ideally we want it to bounce one time without the receiver having to move. Then she switches hands to that right hand and she's waiting for the next call. Behind the back without moving the feet. Let's see if it gets there. Now that is a much, much better pass. So that was a phenomenal pass. It was accurate. Haley, the receiver, did not have to move to catch it. So this is really going to challenge a player's poise and ability to do two different things with their hands. Just by alternating dribbles like that, their hands are having two different actions. While one ball goes up, one ball goes down. And they got to be able to control those feet. So let's take a look here. He's got a good wide stance. And again, he's waiting for the call of the receiver to say pass. And we always go with the left shoulder first, and then later on we go with the right shoulder. So alternating dribbles, turn dribbles, those are actually. So the ball's turning. As you can see, his wrists go from in to out. There's the pass. Don't move the feet. Kind of fumbles the crossover there. That's okay. But that's what that's what it's really going to bring out. It's going to bring out a player's weakness. When something goes on with that other hand, that's a very good wrap behind the back pass. When something goes on with the one hand, does it affect your dribble? And that's really what happens with defenders is that they force you to do something else with your offhand, whether they hit it, they grab it, and you lose the basketball. So let's take a look here. Great wide stance. He's not really turning his dribble. There's a good pass behind the back. Actually not. It takes two bounces. So now you might say, well, this is pretty simple. Well, actually, it's not, because when you put in all the details of having the composure to make an accurate pass, having the ability to keep the dribble with the other hand while making that behind that back pass is very, very challenging, that most people do not understand until they try something like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got some value out of it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking this video, commenting on what types of videos you would like to see next. And if you're looking for extra help, check out the link in the very first comment or the links in the description. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time.